Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Bosnian and welcome back to another one of my videos. And today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the upcoming DLC 2 map that is going to be Takeo's map. Just like how Richtofen was killed in The Giant and how Dempsey was killed in Der Eisendrache, Takeo and Nikolai are next, and I believe that they will get their own DLCs for each of their characters. So I believe that Takeo is next and that the map is going to take place on a jungle island. The key reason I think that this next map is what it is because of the cipher note translated in Der Eisendrache that reads, "After the success at the Rising Sun facility, Division number 9 is moving with phase number 2. The island facility is now operational and initial testing is underway." The fact that it says phase 2 makes me believe that the next thing to happen in terms of DLC is this mysterious island facility that it mentions. Now I believe that the island this cipher is talking about is Pompeii, and if you guys remember the Shadows of Evil note that Richtofen drew, you could see 4 coordinates in the 4 corners of the note. The first one led us to the Giant map, the second one led us to Der Eisendrache, the third one led us to this island of Pompeii, and the fourth one led us to Volgograd, Russia. The fact that the last coordinates are in Russia, Stalingrad or Volgograd depending on the time period in the map makes me think that since Nikolai is Russian, it would just make sense if Nikolai 1.0 would be killed in Russia and that Takeo 1.0 would be killed in Pompeii, because Pompeii is right under Japan. And the cipher also says a Rising Sun facility, which pretty much solidifies the fact that the map is Japanese and the other is Russian. So it would just make sense that Nikolai would be in the Russian map and Takeo would be in the Japanese map. So another thing that I wanted to mention was the fact that when I think of Russia, I think of snow and cold. And I don't see why Treyarch would make us play in another snow map. Just a snow map 3 times in a row. A change in scenery would kind of make sense at this point, but what is the story behind this map and how is Takeo 1.0 going to be killed in the map? Obviously, Richtofen wants to collect their souls, so killing the old Takeo makes sense. But why are they all in different facilities? In Der Eisendrache, you actually get to see them all in cryotubes, and at one point they were all together, as you could clearly see in that image. And this is just the Easter egg with the projector in Der Eisendrache, but why would they do that? Why would they ship them to different places? I mean, they were all together at one point. If the whole objective was to launch them to the moon, why didn't they do that? Why did they separate them? This map is set in the South Pacific, and if you remember the Shadows of Evil radios, one of them talked about how a character named Mr. Rat sent a journalist to the South Pacific to retrieve ancient artifacts. Here is the audio clip.
Hey, Mr. Rat. So I tracked down all the people you asked me to look into. I sent you a telegram with all their details, all their contact numbers. But I gotta be honest, I'm getting nervous. These last 6 months you've had me working like a low-rent private dick. Really, I just want to be a reporter. It's not that I'm ungrateful. I know the checks you've given me, but more than generous for services rendered. It's just all this stuff you've had me do. Tracking down ancient artifacts in the South Pacific, finding all these strange metals and rocks in Russia. And still, I haven't even met you face to face. I'm sorry, Mr. Rapp. I think maybe the mood of the city is getting me a little. Making me nervous. Anxious. Anyway, I'm looking forward to you finally getting here.
Now, the obvious question here is what kind of artifacts was he retrieving? Looking at the part of the island the coordinates directly lead us to makes it seem like this next map might take place in a jungle somewhere, but remember the coordinates for Der Eisendrache, they were kind of off a little too, so they were somewhere in a random mountain range, and the actual castle where the map takes place in was further away from the coordinates. So I believe that the actual map is going to take place in a more significant part of the island, specifically on the eastern side of the island in Non Medal. Non Medal is a ruined city adjacent to the eastern shore of the island of Pompeii that was the capital of Saldilor dynasty until about 1628. It, in the present day, is in the Federated States of Micronesia in the Western Pacific Ocean. The city, constructed in a lagoon, consists of a series of small artificial islands linked by a network of canals. Even though that sounds fine and dandy, what's the big deal? How is DLC 2 going to top a castle in Der Eisendrache? I mean, it doesn't sound amazing at all. I think that there is a lot more to this map, so let's dig a little bit deeper here. If we look into the island's fiction on the wiki page, it mentions none other than H.P. Lovecraft's Call of Cthulhu. There is an obvious connection to Cthulhu in the zombie storyline, and just a lot of Lovecraftian imagery in general being used as an influence in the Shadows of Evil storyline. The Apothecans, which are the tentacle monsters we see in Shadows of Evil, are not done yet. Remember the Shadow Man? He is literally inside of the summoning key with old Richtofen and old Dempsey. All Richtofen has to do is release him. In 1928, excavations in Non-Madal had taken place, and the discoveries led to Lovecraft actually writing the story of Ryla, the sunken city in the Call of Cthulhu. So this place is literally what made Cthulhu. If the map doesn't take place in that area, it literally wouldn't make any sense, because why would we be playing in a random jungle on a random island in the middle of nowhere? It just makes a lot more sense that the significant stuff that is actually happening on a different part of the island, which is far away from the coordinates, would be a part of the map's storyline and a part of the actual map's architecture. It makes more sense. Ryla is the sunken city inhabited by Cthulhu and his minions. The city used to be on an island above the ocean, but the stars shifted and sunk the city beneath the sea. Cthulhu is trapped there today, dead but dreaming. When the stars are right, the city will rise again. When Ryla rises in Lovecraft's short story, The Call of Cthulhu, the only portion of the city that emerges is a single hideous monolith-crowned citadel in which Cthulhu is entombed. The human onlookers are awed by the sheer immensity of the city and by the frightening suggestiveness of the gargantuan statues. So what if this is actually what happens in this map? Just imagine an Easter egg where you would make this city come back above the water. That would just be absolute insanity. And awakening Cthulhu from his sleep. That just sounds terrible. That sounds scary as hell. But again, there's just no way that everything that I've said so far has no significance. It's just so obvious. Takeo is next in line to be killed, but how does that play out in the map? I've seen people speculate that he would come out of his pod maybe and have a sword fight with the other Takeo, or that Takeo 1.0 would just commit seppuku and die honorably, because you gotta remember, Takeo is all about honor. And if you don't know what seppuku is, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly or not. It's pretty much a ritual suicide. I'm gonna read the definition straight from Google here, but it's a ritual suicide by disembowelment with a sword, formerly practiced in Japan by samurai as an honorable alternative to disgrace or execution. So instead of actually killing Takeo 1.0, we would actually let him kill himself, because that's probably the more honorable thing to do. And again, Takeo is all about honor. But other than that, other than Takeo, what is going to be happening in this map again? I don't know. Is there going to be another boss fight like in Der Eisendrache? Will we fight Cthulhu this time? I really don't know. Is the map going to be underwater? Going back to Shadows of Evil and Der Eisendrache, both those maps had areas that you could go under the map. What if this time the underground area is now actually underwater? And it would make sense, because all of this kind of underwater city stuff is being connected to this area. Maybe Cthulhu is in that underwater area, and somehow you get that piece of land underwater to rise above the sea, just like that story that I read. And you have a boss fight with Cthulhu. That would be absolutely, again, that would be horrifying if that actually happened. But that's zombies for you. It's really scary, and the connections to Cthulhu are just way too obvious, and the fact that the eastern part of the island was huge inspiration for the story for Cthulhu is just, it's just too obvious. And that's pretty much what I'm gonna say about this DLC 2. And let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What do you think this next map is going to be all about? Do you believe that Cthulhu is going to be in the map? Maybe, possibly, who knows? Again, let me know down in the comment section below. Do you think this is going to be underwater, or do you think this is going to be on land? Or do you think it's going to be a mix of both? Maybe you're going to be playing on land, and then maybe again there is some sort of an underwater, underground kind of portion of the map where you go underwater. So I don't know, let me know down in the comment section below, but that's gonna be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a rating, please subscribe, and have a wonderful day. See ya in the next one.